Good morning from Johannesburg and welcome to KHG Blast once again on this Sunday, I think it's the 18th or something today. 18th, let me have a check on my calendar here. Yep, the 18th, here we go, Sunday the 18th here in Joburg. A winter's morning, but not too cold, nice and warm. And welcome. We're going to just kind of carry on from the stuff we've been talking of the last two sessions. Revelation was 1 verse 8. I'm the Alpha and Omega, or I'm the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the end. Talking about love. God is love from 1 John 4, verse 9, I think it is, or verse 8, and 1 John 4, 16, where John says God is love. And today I want to ask the question, what is love? How can we define love? How do we define love? The love that he's talking of in his passages. And constantly he refers to the Greek word, or the Greek word used rather is agape, the word for love. God is love. And what is agape then? In recent years, maybe the last 20 years, it seems recent, a lot of emphasis was put on the different words we have in the Bible for love. Eros, which is physical love, and phileo, which is more of a friendship love, and then agape, which is called a God kind of love. But we actually find that the difference between phileo and agapao is not that much. In fact, we go to the Gospel of John, and at the end of John, where the discourse between Jesus and Peter is where Jesus says, "Peter, do you love me? Peter, do you love me? Peter, do you love me?" And Peter's reply, "Yes, Lord, I do. Don't you know that I love you?" Man, what are you asking me? You know I love you. The word agape and phileo are used almost interchangeably there. So the only thing to notice, I think, is that where we are told to love one another, always uses agapao or agape. Agapao being the verb and agape the noun. Anyway, so what is love then? What is it that we're talking about? So when we talk about Aleph and Tav, what in that context, in the way where John used it, the Apostle John, what is love? If I look at Aleph and Tav and look at the original pictorial representations that we have of those two letters, Aleph being the ox head and horns, and Tav being the cross, and the representation then of or the development from the ox head is strength and power and authority and things like that, and from the cross sticks is the actual cross, which eventually points to Christ on the cross. So what is love? It's Christ crucified on the cross for us. That's a kind of a simple conclusion to draw. Christ crucified on the cross for us. He surrenders his power, he surrenders his authority, becomes a human, takes on flesh, God does, and he surrenders himself to the authorities to be crucified, although he's innocent. So what is the lesson then? It's sacrifice then. So love looks like it's a form of sacrifice. What is the sacrifice? What do we all have to go and be crucified to prove our love? Jesus says to us in the Gospels, take up your cross and follow me, and deny yourself, take up your cross and follow me. So that is according to love, I would imagine, I would think, to take up to deny ourselves and to follow Christ is a calling to practice love, because love is something that is not concerned with us. It goes out somewhere else. My mother, who is still alive, she's 90 now, she's 90 now, once told me 40 years ago, I don't know, that love is respect. And that kind of stuck with me. I was a young man when she told me that, 20-something. And she said love is respect. And she was talking about love basically in a marriage situation, which would then also go beyond that. Love is to respect. And what do you mean by respect? During our Bible translation days, my Bible translation days, I was very fortunate to meet Professor Johannes Lowe, who is the editor of a Greek lexicon, a semantic lexicon. And he's also edited or involved in other things with Eugene Nider. I think Nider and Lowe did this lexicon together. Eugene Nider, an American professor, both involved with linguistics and stuff like that. And anyway, in their lexicon, when they look at the word agape, it's defined like this. The word agape, love, they define it as a sincere appreciation or a high regard. A sincere appreciation of somebody else or a high regard of somebody else, which is respect. We respect people. We've had dramatic things happen in the last week in our nation here in South Africa with the rioting and looting, and then in the aftermath of that we've seen people coming together in communities that have been affected, and mopping up and clearing up and helping each other and doing stuff for other people. My sister is involved in that. She is in a small town in KwaZulu-Natal, where the people have got together and they give food to those who need food, and whatever they do, they share what they have, and they're standing together as a community. That shows respect from one member of the community to the other member of the community. I was listening to a guy speaking the other day, I've forgotten his name now, and he defined love as the consideration of others. Now that's quite, this is what it's about. It's the consideration of others. This is what respect is. When we consider others, it's interpretation of motive. If somebody says something to us, especially in a marriage situation, if one of the spouses makes a remark about the other spouse, sometimes the remark is taken as a criticism instead of as I want the best from you, or I want the best for you. Whereas the one who is being remarked about thinks, just wants to sit in my head, or just wants to do this or do that or the other thing, and has a negative connotation. Whereas in fact what the one spouse is just trying to do for the best to come out of the partner, from the partner, to have the best for that partner. Anyway, so this is what love then is all about. It's about openness, one with another, openness of heart, openness of mind, that we can share on a platform where there's not much venom involved, or not any venom involved, in fact, where we trust each other, where we trust the opinions of others, in the sense that we don't always look for a negative motive, we don't always look for a negative agenda in what other people are saying to us. And if we talk or discuss something, we discuss it as, let's call it, as adults with common sense. This is what love is all about. It's not a gooey, mushy feeling that we have for somebody else. That's eros. Okay, that's something else altogether. But love is that respect that we have for other people, the consideration that we have for other people. It's an openness we have for other people to read us, to see our motives, to see that we don't have a hidden agenda to put somebody down or to do something, but rather that our agenda is to build up our neighbors, to do something good for our neighbor, for whoever that we come in contact with in our social circles where we move, that we're doing something that will benefit the other person. It's not for ourselves. Just as I'm talking, I'm thinking of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, talking about the gifts of the Spirit, where it says the gifts are for the common good. Discernment, faith, healing, the 9 gifts that are mentioned in knowledge, wisdom, whatever they are. And it begins off in that passage and it says the gifts of the Spirit are for the common good. In other words, the gifts of the Spirit, the things that the Spirit activates in us, isn't for me. It's for somebody out there. Somebody that needs that gift, needs a gift of healing, needs a gift of discernment, needs a gift of knowledge or of wisdom or whatever it is, needs that particular facet of the gift of the Spirit. So mercy, whatever it is, it's not for me. It's there for me to dish out, to give to somebody else, to dish out to other people so that they can benefit from what God has given me. It sounds a bit like a socialist, isn't it? No, but then it's a genuine thing from my side. Not something I'm not forced to do, but something that I want to do, something that comes from me towards other people. A gift. This is what love is. It's an openness in towards. It is actually humility. Another form of humility. In other words, I will become less, so that somebody else can be more. I will help people to build them, and to build other people, I must take a back seat, as it were, and help that person to become what they are supposed to become. Hopefully, we do this with our spouses, with our children, with those people around us. We build them up, and we help them to do something. Now, just something off the bat here. The scriptural principle of sowing and reaping, whatever you sow, so shall you reap. Okay, so if whatever you're going to sow, you're going to reap. So we need to be careful what we sow, because we're going to reap that. Now, this is a philosophical kind of statement or question or psychological or whatever you want to call it. If I'm going to be sowing, knowing that what I'm going to be sowing is what I'm going to be reaping, isn't that ultimately a selfish motive? I'm just asking that question. Don't answer it. I don't want to answer. I don't want to know everything. It's just a kind of out in the blue there. All right, something to blast you with today. So anyway, what we sow is indeed what we reap. So if I come from a farming background, and if we my dad was a tobacco farmer, maize farmer, cattle farmer. And if we planted tobacco, then we reap tobacco. If we planted maize, then we reap maize. If you were breeding cattle, you got cattle back. So whatever you're going to be put in is what you're going to get back. So if you nurture your crop, you're going to get a good crop. If you nurture your livestock, you're going to have good livestock. In a normal run of things, if things go sort of normally, you will have a good crop, you'll have a good livestock herd, whatever, and you'll benefit from that because you're sowing into that. Whatever you're going to put in the ground, you're going to get back again. So if whatever it is that I do, is what I get back. And I think sometimes that principle is abused by some people in a way that I'm just pouring a bit of stuff in here now. So you'll press down, fold it, press down 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold, whatever, and people want to try and get you to pour money into the ministry or pour money into that, and then God's going to bless you with that. That's appealing to your greed. And we need to be careful of that. We need to be very careful of that kind of thinking. Now, we sow because we want to help people. We want to do something and get on with stuff. All right. So there we go. So what is love then? Love is, let me just recap over here. Love is to respect people. Love is to have a sincere appreciation or a high regard for people. Love is a consideration of others before yourself. You put others first. Love is an interpretation of motive. In other words, you look at the motive, or you read the motive as a positive motive. People want to help me. They don't want to put me down. So when somebody says something to me, makes a remark about something, then I think, okay, what is it that I can improve, or what can I build up, and take it in a positive spirit. Love is an openness to other people, being open in our hearts and open in our minds. Love is humility to other people. This is what love is. Love is sacrifice. Jesus on the cross. We read that in the Gospel of John. We love because he loved us first. So he made that sacrifice for us. This is what love ultimately is then, a sacrifice. We sacrifice our own ego and we put other people first. That is what love is. And it's not always easy. It's not always simple to do. We can build up all sorts of stuff in our hearts, in our minds, grudges, bitterness and whatever, and that's not good. No, we need to get rid of that stuff, and we need to hold people in high regard, and this is how we will win the battle. Even in our own nation right now, we need to hold people in a high regard, no matter what we think. And we need to take that into consideration, that as we sow that, this is what we're going to be reaping. High regard, appreciation, and stuff like that. The love of God, sacrifice. We need to sacrifice our own egos for the sake of others. All right, guys, have a blast, and remember what I said about sowing and reaping. Enjoy it, and enjoy the rest of the day. Have a good day, and we'll see you soon.